Good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are in these United States. Good morning, our fellow beauty and barber professionals. Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Brenda.
Good morning, Tam. Glad to be here.
Yes, ma'am. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice. And like you said, be glad in it.
And, yes, so be it.
Amen. Amen. Well, we're going to see who's going to join us this morning. Of course, we come to you on Mondays. This was decided, on the spur last week when we were live, that we would continue to come to our industry and bring them information as we're learning and as we're growing. We want to stay connected with our fellow beauty and barber professionals. So, Dr. Brenda, I'm sure that there's some happenings over in the state of Ohio. Our efforts, for those of you that are new to who we are and what we do and why we do it, our efforts are literally to address the health and safety issues that plague the beauty and barber industry via continuing education. Our organization is rooted in the need for higher continuing education standards. This is an industry where we were deemed non-essential in this COVID season, and we are essential workers. uh, we've been trained in health and safety and sanitation and infection control. This is what we know, this is what we do, this is the foundation of who we are. So to be deemed non-essential, we have to be mindful that these kind of determinations and these definitions, this will define our industry and define us moving forward. So we have to be mindful that as beauty and barber professionals, continual education will keep us elevated beyond these new titles. And then the politics and beauty barber part of what we do is advocacy. We advocate for to strengthen our professional license. We advocate, to have a political presence, have a voice in the political process, because how dare they make rules and they make these decisions for us, and we, those of us who are beauty and barber professionals, not have a seat at the table. That's not how it should work, Dr. Brenda.
Exactly. I agree. I totally agree. And some of those things that we as beauty and barber industry professionals should be keenly aware of are policies that may change the industry in your states. I know in my state of Ohio, we've been fighting several bills. Last year, in our last general session, there was a bill, 399, which was targeted to reduce the hours of education. That's Education is the most essential thing that beauty school and barber school students should have. Presently, we are 1,500 hours in cosmetology, the total cosmetology course, and 1,800 hours for the barber course. So now, last year, they put in to reduce it to 1,000 in each of those learning education. And it's just not enough for someone to come out of school with 1,000 hours. They're looking at it to be where they don't have a student loan, but the education is what they need to be um, able. It enables them to provide a, a, a wonderful profession, which I've enjoyed for over 40 years. I'm grateful for the education that I have, and I continue to get education. CEUs in our state are required in order to renew your license. But there is coming down the pike in this general session that we're in now for 2021 that they're going to reintroduce that bill. We have to be on the watch. We have to talk to our representatives, our senators, and let them know that we are aware of these bills that are coming down. Now, it was House Bill 399 and Senate Bill 335 the last general session. But each session that we've been fighting each year, it becomes a new bill. It dies if nothing is voted on, the bill dies. Then it has to be reintroduced. Most of the time, reintroduced by someone that's fighting for the proposed. And it's usually, big dollars, corporate businesses that supply the money to help sponsor the bills. A senator could bring in the bill, but it's been sponsored by someone maybe of corporate. So the bill is coming down the pike. We have to be vigilant. We have to be very watchful. And the only way you can do it is be involved in your state board, in your senators and your representatives. Be involved about this industry. We don't want to lose the ma and pa shops, the small business shops. They are the cornerstone of the community. Barbershops, beauty shops is where you get a lot of information, a lot of resources. We know a lot about a lot of things. We're not just sitting around gossiping. I'm retired and I didn't do that in my shop. I wouldn't allow that. But we are essential. Please be involved in what's coming down. Please be involved and stay on top.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. She says the nail artist. She says we wish we had CEUs in Pennsylvania. I don't think it's what I think the industry doesn't understand the most is how continuing education equates to professionalism. Let me say that again. How continuing education equates to professionalism. Every professional industry, your doctors, your lawyers, in every professional licensed industry has continual education and has mandated continual education. They don't just say we offer these CEUs and you can take them if you want to. No, these CEUs are required for license renewal. And until beauty and barber professionals recognize that, we have to push for our industry to have the same kind of standards as these other professional industries, we're going to continue to be behind the eight ball. We're going to continue to have to, sit on the sidelines while other professions, in this COVID season that were able to continue to work. They were able to continue. They came up with their own standards, and we came up with our own. If you look over here on my desk, right over here in the corner, we came up with our standards too. Like we were there, but because the laws that dictate us, like the nail artist says, right in Pennsylvania, the laws that dictate us, they don't mandate that we have these continuing education hours. They don't mandate that we do certain things. And if they do, the mandates are so loose, Dr. Brenda, that we can kind of skate by. And sadly, many of our professionals know how to skate by. Here in the state of Georgia, for an example, Georgia does require continuing education credits, but there's no tracking mechanism. So back in 2014, our organization introduced a bill in the state of Georgia that says, okay, Georgia, if you're going to have these continuing education requirements, there needs to be a tracking mechanism that says, okay, professional, if you didn't get these CEU hours, you can't renew your license. But then it became a budgetary issue. Like the state doesn't want to spend the money. But here's where we had our state trapped. And, as we were advocating as Politics, Beauty, and Barber, we trapped them in a corner because we found out that the state was collecting over $1 million in fines. So that $1 million in fines that you collect every year, what are you doing with it? And we started asking questions, Dr. Brenda. And we asked the question, what are they doing with it? Come to find out, the money was going into the general fund for the state. The general fund for the state. So the state got to decide whatever the hell they wanted to do with our money off of fines from our industry, where there's discrepancies. Obviously, if you think that, you have these fines, so obviously we're not doing some things right. Where are you taking this money and saying, okay, beauty and barber professionals, how do we help you to do this right? Since we're fining you, but that's not what they were doing. It was literally stealing the money from us. And I say stealing it. They were taking it from us and putting it back into wherever they wanted to in the state of Georgia. So until we as beauty and barber professionals come together and say, let's collaborate collectively, let's work together professionally, let's really come together and advocate and address policy in such a way that if they mess with you in Pennsylvania, nail artists, they messing with Dr. Brenda and everybody in Ohio. They messing with those of us in the state of Georgia. They messing with some people out in Arizona. When you come for one, you come for all of us. And that's the kind of political power. Once we harness that, we will be a force to be reckoned with. You're muted, Dr. Brenda. We can't hear you.
Exactly. States should be aware of what's going on at the state level. I remember back in, I think it was 2012, that there was there was something coming down the pipe of the state taking over cosmetology money. They wanted it to go back into the pool of the state. Now, the cosmetologists in Ohio were such a big force, and the nurses, they were such a big group of people that they controlled their own money. So when cosmetologists, nurses heard about it, they got together. Back those days, they signed petitions. And they signed petitions so many that when it went to the state house, the state could not advocate. They could not take the money from those two boards that supported their own and had their own rules. They couldn't do it. But now it's slipping away again. Big politics has come in and it's trying to slip away. The state is trying to get control. State board was a strong force of the cosmetology, and now it's trying to go back to something that doesn't look like state board to me at all. It's politics, big time.
And it is politics. And I'm gonna speak to the petitions that you just mentioned. You know, there was a time when we could as an industry say, let's sign these petitions, all of us, let's sign these petitions. But let me tell you how legislators have gotten hip to that, and they don't give the petitions as much. It's not as much as valid as it once was with kind of pushing them, because they realize that a lot of these signees, the signatures on these petitions, they weren't necessarily their constituents. So they didn't fear having somebody from another state, say what they should do in their state. Because, states' rights. And a lot of these legislators feel like, well, this is my state. You can't vote for me. You can't get me. You can't hurt me here in my state and with my constituents. So they've kind of, the petition, unless you are able to specifically have their constituents signing these petitions, they aren't afraid of them like they used to be.
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But writing letters and talking to your senator, your representatives, that's the thing you have to do now. And it takes time to call them all. We have 99 representatives, and there were 33 senators. I had to call all of them. I had to email all of them. A lot of people don't like doing that. It took all day to do it, but you had to sit down time because it's important to do it. And as I said, Lord, give me grace, give me strength, because it was a job. It was all day. I didn't get paid, but the general group, it should pay off if we just fight. We got to fight.
Yeah, we have to stay in the fight. I mean, this industry, for most professionals, that license feeds you. That license feeds your family. That license fed me for 18 years as a professional. It helped me to raise my children. It helped me to be the kind of parent that I wanted to be. I never wanted my children to be latchkey kids. So I would, I was able to take my children to school in the mornings. I was able to work while they were in school, and I was able to pick my kids up and come home and be the mother that I wanted to be. I was a single mom, so I didn't want to have a job or anything that didn't give me the flexibility that I need. When my kids had programs, I was there. They'll tell you my mama was at everything because I was.
Yeah.
So this industry, we have to protect what is really, really, really fueling us, what is feeding us, and protect it for the next generation. I mean, this industry has to be around. We see, I hear the YouTubers and the people, our industry gets so mad with the world that is happening around us. But if we learn to protect what is ours with the license, because there's a difference when you can have that license up on the wall and says, I'm educated, I'm trained, and you're safe, and having some credentials on the walls from like a professional organization like ours. We have credentials. We have memberships and certificates and your CEUs. We put that out. We let our the professionals in our organization, they have credentials on their walls. Credentials on their walls that says, I'm safe. You're gonna come in here, you're not gonna leave with something you didn't come in here with.
It's very important. It's important that we show ourselves and to prove ourselves. Our clients, they look for that, and
Mhm.
hopefully all will look for that. Um, Everyone has the opportunity, I pray, to go to beauty school or barber school and become a professional, nail tech or uh, masseuse, any of the beauty industry is it's available. Get the education, learn from the professionals. Yeah, it's education.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to pivot just a little bit, Dr. Brenda. I've been sharing as we've been talking. So if you're seeing us on some of the Facebook groups, please like it, please share it, please spread the word. Please go to our website, check out what we're doing. We're politicsbeautybarber.org. We have our 8th annual look. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been around for a minute. And I know beauty and barber professionals, they've come and they go, but we've been very consistent with our efforts. But I'm going to share my screen and show you what we have coming up. Dr. Brenda and I will talk through Industry Day for those of you that can join us virtually. There's no reason why you can't. We've scheduled it now for, there it is. It's scheduled for June. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. Let me, yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. So yes, we're scheduled for Monday, June 14th from 11 until 3 p.m. We're going to have our keynote speaker will be Dr. Crystal Porter. Why science will save the licensed professional. I don't think people understand there's two things now that's plaguing our industry. It's science and it's politics. Let me say it again. It's science and politics. It's the science behind it's the products, it's the ingredients, it's what we're being exposed to. It's all the science behind our industry. It's the politics, it's the policy that's being written. So Dr. Crystal Porter will be our keynote speaker. I will begin the morning out with the Breakfast of Champions. We'll do our 2020 industry report. For those of you that don't know, we've been tracking bills for quite a number of years, but we have some pretty solid numbers. Back in 2015, we tracked 308 bills. Back in 2016, we tracked 343 bills. Back in 2017, we tracked 409 bills. All of these bills affect our industry. In 2018, we had 355 bills. In 2019, we had 266 bills. 2020, 422 bills thus far that we've seen on our radar. But we will have an industry report, and we're going to talk about what these bills, what really happened in 2022. So we have a lot that we will cover with the Breakfast of Champions. We'll introduce our affiliate organizations. We have a federal alliance, y'all, a federal alliance with OSHA. Let me say that again. The Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals and Politics Beauty and Barber, we're a 2-in-1 organization, but the Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals, we have a federal alliance with OSHA. Georgia Tech is our facilitator with that relationship. So we have this alliance, and we're going to definitely have a moment for our that affiliation and some of the other affiliates that we have that have been a part of our efforts for many years. Dr. Brenda will bring us from the historian herself. Our history is our legacy. I don't think people understand the magnitude, and I'll let you dive in right there, Dr. Brenda, the magnitude and the richness of our history, particularly in the civil rights movement.
Most definitely, we were a people of beauty professionals that really wanted equality. We really fought for our rights. There was a time that you weren't allowed into social status. There was a time where we had to create our own. We had to create our own wealth, our own funeral homes. A lot of the barbers started out as preachers. They saw the need of a people. that needed funeral homes. They started funeral homes. A lot of the barbers were the first millionaires, and this was long before Madam C.J. Walker and um, Madam Malone. Uh, I mean, there's so much rich history um, going back to our barbers, and even the barber services were performed by Egyptians in 5000 BC. It's like interesting our history, and it is our legacy. We fought hard, even in the state of Ohio, where I'm from. There was a time when barbers went against the beauticians, because they called them beauticians back in that day, and they called them hair culturists. That was another term used for the hairdressers in the day. But they were saying that we didn't have the right to cut hair in the beauty salon. And so the beauticians in our state, we formed an organization. We went up against the barbers and we won. That was in 1936. So there's a lot of things that different states have fought. Learn your history of your state. Learn. I want to share history of the beginning, when we were first brought over here to the United States to build the United States. Um, we were some of the first hairdressers. Hairdressing was in our DNA. So look forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. Industry Day is going to be exciting. Like, this is our 8th annual. We've been doing this. We'll show some old pictures from when we started out. We've been doing this for a while, and we've been very committed to bringing, our beauty and barber professionals to the forefront in politics, and to the forefront with making sure we have those continual education standards that other industries are, they have. So we've been doing this work for a long time. And, after Dr. Brenda speaks on June the 14th, we'll have the new 2021 customer, our member advocate, Gloria Sprague. She'll talk about licensing and educating, and how there's a new customer in 2021. And licensing and educating is going to be very different. So we look forward to Gloria's presentation. Then we have the North Dakota professionals winning at the state capitol. They are actually in a fight right now in the state of North Dakota. So we're paying attention across the nation. And then we'll have Danielle Slade, another one of our member advocates. She will talk about why you suck at business. This is kind of to bring a little, how we are. We got to, have a little twist to it. She's not saying you're bad at business, but we do have some business practices that we need to address. So it'll be a very enlightening information from Danielle. So, and then of course, to follow up with our keynote speaker, again, Dr. Crystal, why science will save the licensed professional. So a lot of great information. It's going to be a great morning. Of our member advocates, this is a free event. This is something that we do. It's a free event. Our students is $15 and professionals at $25. But we will hope that you would join us and be a part of what we're doing. This is how we, like I said, we protect our industry. And this is the work. This is the real work. We can stand behind the chairs and we can be behind the table. I was a nail tech for 18 years and I was behind that table and I did great services. But I'm telling you, they didn't pay me for the services. Yes, technically they paid me for the services. But technically, really, they didn't. It was the fact that I was very knowledgeable. I was learned. I studied. I read. I used to love getting my magazines. Dr. Brenda has dropped. I used to love getting my industry publications, and I would read our industry publications cover to cover. Every one I got, read them cover to cover. I knew I was so updated. And, I read articles and on the internet, I stayed abreast of, the entire industry. They didn't just pay me for the service. They paid me for everything that I had, the investment into myself so that I could give back to them. So we're having some technical difficulties with Dr. Brenda. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, but she'll be back on with us. But this is what we do. This is politics, beauty, and barber. This is the Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals. If you see my picture, let me see. If you see me right there. Like I said, we've been doing this for a very long time as beauty and barber professionals. And this is how we save our industry. This is how we do it. I'm going to talk about some of the bills as we kind of wrap up here. We don't take more than about 30 minutes to bring you this information. Let me see if Dr. Brenda's back. You're back, Dr. Brenda?
Yes.
The doggone internet.
At the darnest.
Doggone internet. But I wanted to bring you some bills. I'm gonna pull up just to kind of give you some insight on what we're really seeing. I think sometimes the industry seems to think that, you know, right now we have over 300 bills in 2021. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at 319 bills that are in our database right here, right now, in real time across these United States. So, you know, just to give you an example of what I'm seeing here, I'm going to read it to you. Over in Alabama, there's a bill to remove hair braiding from the definition of cosmetology and exclude from requirements of licensure. So, you know, this whole thing with hair braiding and how our hair braiders and natural hair professionals aren't, you know, they don't want to be licensed. There's a lot of people that want to come into this industry and they want to do services, but they don't want the licensure. And the sad part about that is licensure is training. Licensure is education. Licensure is the ability to keep your clients safe, you know. And the fact that I've been into braid shops, you know, where I've seen for myself how some of these, they don't know protocol. They don't know that you don't drop a comb and pick it up and use it, or they don't care. They don't, and they know that nobody's going to come in and tell them what to do. So, you know, they'll use that comb on you and use that comb on somebody else. They'll eat in their workspace. You know, I've seen just not clean, the salon itself just not be clean. You know, that's just the bait. That's just the what I can see. And the fact that they don't know anything about or know enough about what's on the scalp. Dr. Brenda, you could speak to that as a cosmetologist, seeing, you know, lesions and seeing, you know, maybe ringworms, or seeing, you know, and pulling the hair too tight, like, you know, this alopecia thing is. So there's so many things that, you know, this state of Alabama, you know, saying let's take and remove hair braiding from the definition of cosmetology and exclude it from requirements for licensure. And here's where it's such a division in the industry. And I'll tell you, amongst Black beauty and barber professionals, is because there's some people, Black people in the industry that are licensed, that says we understand why we need to be licensed and we want to protect the license. And then there's Black people that says this is racial, this is ancestral, this is cultural. And the practice of braiding it is cultural. But when it comes to health and safety and sanitation, this is America. And in America, we are intentional about health and safety and sanitation. Dr. Brenda, I don't want to get on my soapbox, but you can dive in right there, please.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We should be concerned about the health and safety. That concerned beauty and barber professionals, that's exactly what we're all about. We're concerned, not just in like Tamara's from Georgia, her particular state, but from every state. It is only to invoke you from other states to look into the practices and the disproportionate laws that they're trying to take away from the industry. Health and safety, it should be across the board that you are required to take the course to renew your license. And if you're not professional, then go to school, become professional. It's okay. It's important to have that license. You should be proud to be licensed. I mean, it's an important piece of paper. Certificate. Education is important. So this is an important issue, and each state should look into their state board and see what's going on, and stay involved in your legislation.
Exactly. So let me give you a couple more as we head out. California, there's one for externships, and I don't know why it's not maybe apprenticeships, but there's a bill in California that's specific to externships. And I think we need to dive into the difference between apprenticeships, externships. What are they really saying out in the state of California? There's another one there's a bill in Connecticut right now. It's an act expanding the qualifications of hairdressing and cosmetologists to include waxing. So, waxing is something that, our estheticians, this is their lane, is skin, so for them to now want to merge, parts of the aesthetics license with the cosmetology license, what are you doing to the esthetician license? Huh? Are we taking, and I've seen this happen in barbering over in Texas where they created, for the cosmetologist to be able to use a safety razor instead of a straight razor. See, this is where we have to be mindful that we have lanes in this industry, and we have, cosmetologists, we have nail techs, we have our estheticians, and we have our barbers to create. Everybody has a lane. And when we start to take services from one another, we're pitting, they're pitting us against each other. And I don't like when I see that at all. I don't like it at all. So these are the kind of things that we have to be mindful of. And these are the kind of bills that are being introduced right now. This is real time. This is real time in the state of Connecticut. So let's be a part of what we're doing. We're at the 30-minute, half hour mark, Dr. Brenda, but I just want to thank you for joining me today. Be mindful, beauty and barber professionals, that if we don't fight to protect our license and if we don't fight to protect our industry, trust me, the big corporations, big money will take it. They'll take the money out of our pockets. They'll eat off our plates if we allow them to. So we encourage you to be a part of our organization. We are Politics, Beauty, and Barber. We are the Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals. Go to our website. It's right here on the screen, politicsbeautybarber.org. Dr. Brenda, thank you for joining me today.
So glad to have been here. Thank you for the invitation and to be a part of Politics, Beauty, and Barber.
And we'll be back next Monday. We're going to continue to bring you these half-hour segments. We'll continue to dive into some of the bills. We'll talk about some stories, stuff that we're seeing and hearing. So just make sure you join us every Monday right here on the Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals, right here on Facebook. Politics, Beauty, and Barber, right here on Facebook. We're sharing it. Please share it in your social media spaces, and we're on YouTube. So follow us and be a part of what we're doing. Thank you, Dr. Brenda.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great week, beauty and barber professionals. We'll see you next Monday, right?